Hello, my name is Rachel Newman. Welcome to Love, Sex, and Skydiving. Today we're talking about how sex is super sticky. So I know a lot of people learn better with visuals. So I've got my handy dandy little sticky crocodiles today who are going to be helping me make my point. But before we get to them, let's talk about sex. I've already made one video. This is part 2 in my sex education series. And so if you have not seen the first video, please stop and go back and watch that one because it's really foundational. You really need to understand that you were designed for sex by a designer who loves you. You are loved, accepted. There's so much in that video that you need to understand before we move on. And navigating your sexuality is meant to be done in an intimate relationship with your designer who knows you and loves you, who knows how you were made, how you were supposed to be made, and how sex is supposed to function in your life. A healthy, functioning sexuality. And we can trust him. He's our creator and he loves us. So, today, this is not your average, typical sex ed video that you've probably, anything you've probably learned about sex out in the world in education and media, from your friends. You may not have heard this truth, which is going to change your life if it's new. And that is that sex is super sticky. You are a 3-part being: spirit, soul, and body. And in this world, most of the time when we talk about sex, we focus on the body. And that's only 1/3 of who you are. Your spirit and your soul is generally completely ignored and neglected, which means that you're suffering because you don't have any idea what you're supposed to do with those things. So, here we are, talking about it. Sex actually involves your whole entire being, not just your body. It involves your spirit, which is the essence, the reason you are alive, the breath of life that is inside of you that God gave you. It's your spirit. Now, when we are born into this world, we are born slaves to sin. Our spirit is essentially living in death. God was not happy with that at all. And so he came down, became a human being, lived a sinless life, and then became the sacrifice for the sins of the whole world. Every sin that you've ever done, every sin your friends have ever done, every sin your enemies have ever done. The Lord has taken every one of them and paid the price for them. So that when you receive this free gift, you can become a living spirit, reborn by the Spirit of God into God's family, alive in Christ, a new creation. Old things, all gone, everything becomes new. Your whole world changes. It's incredible. And if you haven't had that experience, I encourage you to pause this video right now and ask the Lord. Surrender your life to him. Tell him that you don't want to do things your way anymore. You want everything that he has. And that you'd like to be born again into his family. He's just been waiting for you to ask him to do that. And when you do that, all of heaven celebrates. And your whole life changes in ways you will not expect. That's part of the adventure. So, if you are having sex with another person, your spirits intertwine. If one of you is a living spirit and one of you is a spirit that is living in death, that is operating in death, you will not be able to connect in a functional way. There is no connection. Death and life don't mingle. And so if you're with a partner who is not saved, is not born again, and you are born again, you've probably already identified that there is some kind of disconnect there, some kind of dysfunction, because your spirit is involved in the act of sex. Your soul is also very involved, and we talked about this in the last video, that your soul is your mind, everything that you think about, your will, what you choose to do, and your emotions, which are all of those things that you feel. If you haven't seen the video, part 1, please go back and watch it because there's some really important things about your soul in that video. One of the things that most people don't know is that when we experience brokenness in this world, there are spirits that attach themselves to our souls that are not part of us, but it can feel like they are part of us, especially if you don't understand that you are designed and that they exist. You can be trying to navigate your sexuality and understand who you are and what's going on in your soul and mistake these spirits for a part of yourself, which adds a whole lot of confusion to our world and to our sexuality. And so when you experience brokenness in the world, you can often have attached to yourself a spirit of pride, a spirit of rejection, a spirit of trauma, a spirit of denial, a spirit of control, a spirit of rebellion, a spirit of infirmity. These are all things that attach themselves to us. And if you've grown up in the church, you've probably got a spirit of religion, which I talked about in the last video a little bit. These are very real things that are not part of who we are. They are not part of our being and our identity. But if we don't know that, we're going to live as if they are a part of who we are. And when we have sex with another being who has spirits attached to their soul, we mingle our souls and we open the door, we open ourselves up to anything that's attached itself to them can come and attach itself to us, and anything that's attached to us can go and attach itself to them. And so in this way, you can open the door to all kinds of things entering into your life that aren't a part of your life, that you don't want in your life, that you may not be aware are there, but yet very deeply impact the quality of life that you live and the experience of life that you have. And so it's really important to be aware of that. And then, of course, there is a literal oneness that happens with our physical bodies when we have sex. You literally become an extension of the other person, not only in your body, your soul, but also your spirit. In your body, your brain releases chemicals, dopamine and oxytocin, which are addictive chemicals that you're designed with these because in a healthy, functioning sexuality, you bond with the other person and you create this chemical addiction to having sex with that person. But if you do this with more than one person, you're still creating this. Your body doesn't shut it off. In fact, with your soul and your spirit, this happens every time you have a sexual encounter with a person. And so you can see how the more sexual partners you have, the more that this piles on top of each other over and over. Now, just because you experience these broken ways of this world and you find that you might be sticking in many ways to old sexual partners, to sexual experiences you may have had with pornography, to experiences of violation where you had no choice in the matter and someone invaded your sexuality, to experiences as a kid, just being exposed through entertainment, advertisement, your friends, talking, joking, whatever. When we have a sexual experience, it sticks to us, to our soul, especially. And so, what do? Let's use our visual, okay? This is my stretchy red gator, fresh out of the package. I'm opening it up just for you. Whoa. This guy's really super sticky. Okay, well, in an ideal world that was not broken in any way, you would go into your adult years with a pristine sexuality in which nothing has been stuck to you. And you would find that one partner that you wanted to bond with. Now, when we talk about bonding, let's elaborate on this, because the way that you were designed regarding your sexuality was so that sex would be an experience, a part of this complete package, in which you deeply know someone and they deeply know you. You are known by them, you know them. And there is a very deep level of mutual respect. You respect them, they respect you. You both feel safe being exposed, not only physically naked, but your soul being exposed and laid bare, and your spirit as well, who you are with your relationship to God, which a lot of people think is a very private thing. And many parts of that are intimate and private, and that's why you share them with each other in this bonding package called sex. So it's very likely that most of the people who are watching, look at this thing, who are watching have not experienced this relationship in which you are safe and known, completely known. A lot of people are really afraid that if their partner knew the depths and the secrets and the things that they have inside of them, that their partner wouldn't want to be with them. Okay, that's dysfunction. That's part of this dysfunction we're talking about. This guy's really super sticky too. This is going to be fun, okay? So, our goal is functional sexuality and healing and wholeness, right? So, out of the package, you get into your adult years, super sticky, ready to become one with that person that you love more than anything, more than yourself. You want to be known, you want to know them, you want to mesh your lives completely. But it's a broken world, and so nobody has that experience, okay? Even if you're raised in the church, you're going to have wrong ideas about sex. You're going to have been exposed to it. Likely, you're going to have more condemnation and shame than someone who wasn't raised in church and told that's, different wrong ideas about sex. You don't need to have those wrong ideas. I don't need to go over them because you don't need to plant them in your head if you don't have them, okay? So, anyway, what really happens is you're born into this broken world. And very soon after you are aware and cognizant about what anything is, you get exposed to sex in some way. So, I've got this little bowl of sexual exposure, okay? Maybe you came across a magazine and it's stuck, okay? Maybe you were violated, molested, raped, okay? It's stuck. Sexual abuse is a very traumatic thing. And oh my gosh, you are so loved. And this is not the end of your story. It is not the end of your story. Maybe you got into pornography on the internet. Maybe you were just coming into puberty and experimenting with your friends. Maybe you were in church and they said something really stupid like, sex is dirty and it's only for making babies. Okay? Well. You end up with very few parts that you're going to be able to stick and bond with that partner once you meet that person. Well, this person you're in love with has had their own share of sexual experiences, things they've believed about themselves. They've overheard men talking about how they view women. And as a girl, you decided that all you were a sex object. As a man, you just thought that sex was just for physical pleasure, and it's just a normal animal instinct, and there's nothing wrong with it. And you should do it with anyone and everyone you want to, okay? And then you find that person that you really want to bond with and who you love, okay? And you try to stick together, but something is not working. This is where you're coming into dysfunction. You're trying to have sex with your partner whom you want to bond with, and instead you are thinking about the images that you've got stuck in your mind from the porn you've seen or the books you've read or the other partners you've been with, or you're having triggers of that horrible traumatic event where you were violated in whatever way and whatever that looks like. I don't care if it was something that the rest of the world thinks is minor and you feel like, oh, I shouldn't feel bad about this. That is a lie, okay? If you feel bad about it, if you were wounded in your sexuality, that is a real and valid thing, okay? And I want to tell you and validate that for you and say, I am very, very sorry that you went through that and it was wrong. But we have these problems. Now, here's the thing. Sex has not lost its stickiness. My gators who are helping me, my little sex gators, they haven't lost their stickiness. They are still very sticky. You see, they just have a whole bunch of brokenness and hurt and wounds and wrong beliefs that are stuck to them. Still sticky, but they're not functionally sticking to each other anymore. Doesn't mean that sex isn't sticky anymore. It just means that you got a lot of stuff stuck to you. So, what do we do about this? What is the answer? There is only one answer, and it was given by the one who created you and who loves you and who saw this brokenness that you were born into and who made a way to heal everything that was broken, to restore everything that was taken from you, to bring you into wholeness, a whole healed being, not just someone who's coping, not just someone for which things have gotten better, but a real, whole, healed you. And the way that he's provided for this is his words. He said that his words are like water. Okay, so I have this bowl of water. And he washes us with his words. So what does he say about you? He says, I love you. He says that even when you were a sinner, believing lies about yourself, missing the mark, living in a way that you were not supposed to be living, he valued you and treasured you so much that he found your value to be equal to the life of his son, Jesus Christ. He treasured you so much that he fought for you to the death. And then he fought for you to the life when he was raised again 3 days later. So that you can die to your old ways, your old self, your old wounds, your past, everything that was a part of your life that wasn't a part of him. And you can live again. Look at these clean gators. You can live a new life based on his love for you, the way you were designed to live. To experience everything that he has for you to experience. This world cannot take from you what God has freely given to you if you will come and listen to him and what he says about you and how much he loves you. Okay? So when it comes to your sexuality and you have this relationship with Jesus and you want to be able to have this super sticky bond where you are deeply known by the one you love and where you know the one you love deeply, and you have a mutual respect for each other and protection, and you feel safe, and then you can experience sex in this package where you become not only an extension of each other physically, but your souls mingle, the way you think, the things you feel, the choices that you make, they end up together. You make them together. And your spirits mingle and you live this amazing, incredible, bonded life. That is what sex is supposed to be. And I just want to speak to someone who's watching right now who finds this idea scary. Like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to be bonded to someone like that because you are scared. And I just pray over you right now. I just pray that the Father will walk you into an understanding of how much He loves you. And that there is that one person who is safe for you to be bonded and to get your sticky selves together in every way. It's pretty incredible and pretty amazing. I encourage you to come back for the next video, which is going to be part 3, where we actually look at the instructions we're given about sex. A lot of you don't have any clue what God actually says about sex and what the instructions are for using this incredible gift, this incredible bonding gift. And I just thank you for watching this and walking through this with me. And I pray you have a very blessed